Happy Sunday, everyone. This is your sister Audrey coming to you from Flint Unite. Want to talk to us today. We going to have a good time, but we going to make it real brief because we running today, and I'll explain that while we're running today, but we're going to make it brief. But before we start, we always got to have our brother Mickey to give us the disclaimer for ATN News Media.
The views of Sister Muhammad is not those of 810 News Media Group. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So as you can see, I'm not in the studio today. Um, we're running double time. I'll just put it like that. Everything is doing two things at one time for the rest of this week. As you know, Savior's Day is coming up this weekend in Detroit, where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will be giving his keynote address on Sunday. But we have events that'll be going on from Thursday through Sunday. A lot of plenary sessions, activities, fun things for the children, things for the adults. And so we're just trying to prepare. I'm trying to help people get prepared. A couple of sisters need extra something fixed or repaired or mended or, hemmed or something. And we try to help get everybody prepared because we want to make sure next weekend in the Big D is going to be a great weekend for us all. I'm excited. I'm always excited. And I'll be honest with you. Monday is actually Savior's Day. The 26th is the birth anniversary date of Master Fard Muhammad, who came to us and actually brought to us the Islam in North America. He raised up and taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in turn taught all of us the Nation of Islam. You had Malcolm X, you had the other greats, Muhammad Ali, and then none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And many of us know people who have come out and through the nation, but we just know that they act a little different. We didn't know what it was. And then they say, I'm a Muslim, I'm in the nation. You say that's what it is, because their discipline gives that, it exudes. It just lets you know that I have been trained and that I have gone through it. I don't care what you see them doing. Real short, in short, had a gentleman I was working with. I said, that brother had to have been in the nation. It just was the way he was carrying himself. And he said, I have regrets. And he told me, he said, I'm going to be honest, I do some things I'm not supposed to. He said, but yeah, I did come through the nation. I could tell it by the way he was just moving around. And so it was great. That's great. But anyway, I want to talk to us today about a couple of things. Like I say, Monday is Master Fard Muhammad's. The 26th is actually Savior's Day, but we celebrated that whole weekend. I hope you all either come that Sunday to Huntington Place, the old Cobo Arena in Detroit, or you look at it live from home, noi.org. And make sure it's 2:00 on Sunday. You'll get a chance to see a sea of people, thousands of people acting civilized, because that's what we do. We believe in civility. We believe in civilizing and acting in accord. And like I say, it's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful experience. If you didn't know, I remember, I want to say it was 2007 or 2008 when Erykah Badu's birthday is also February 26th. And I remember she had a CD that dropped that day. And she said, dropping Savior's Day. But many of us at that time probably didn't know that was her birthday anniversary. And it was also the Savior's Day for us. I just recall it coming out. And, of course, I like Erykah Badu. So, of course, I had to tip on over there and get the CD because I wanted to listen to it. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was the one that had window seat on it or if it was. I can't remember exactly which one it was because I got several of her CDs in my cabinet. But just know we're going to be celebrating all next weekend. Bringing that around to two subjects I wanted to talk about today. And then that way we're going to be gone. Like I said, it's going to be a short show today but I didn't want to lose contact with you. I didn't want to have like a week off. Then they say, oh, Sister Audrey probably not coming back home for a while. We're going to even try to get something done for next weekend. I don't know, me and Mickey still have to work out some of that stuff, work out something that I can do in between. Shh, don't tell them. My mini post assignments, because I'm always busy when I'm at Savior's Day. I actually work harder at our events than I do when I go to work. So I'll be working, but I'm going to try to work out something to where maybe we could bring to life some quick videos or something of what we're doing down there. You can see, because I'll be moving around and about. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was this past weekend, I went to Benton Harbor for the Michigan Black Summit. Oh my God. It was so wonderful. Everyone who presented, everyone who spoke, it was wonderful. The energy in the room was great. The people sitting around, the vendors, everyone was wonderful. It's a great experience. Be the will of God. We'll be bringing something to Flint, hopefully in the next several months, and making sure that we get something that's very similar to that what we experienced there. We did have some people there from Flint. We had myself, Sister Carla, and Sister Ursina. You had Dewan. You had Winters Hall was there. You had uh, um, Glover that does the Ignite program. When I pulled up and so I said, that looked like our brother there. And we talked for a few minutes. So it was, like I say, a wonderful experience. Some of the things that I learned and some of the things that I was reminded of, we got to know that business is warfare. He reminded us of the great Booker T. Washington had told us that we got to make sure that our economic status is good, that our businesses is good. We should be creating businesses continuously. 70% of the businesses in our community are all small business owners. So we want you all to know that with us owning our own businesses in our communities, it helps us to keep our money in circulation in our own community several times before it leaves. We get paid. What the first thing we do, we go give our money to somebody else in another community. It's not ours, and we don't do business with ourselves. But we have to say, Black, by all means necessary, we need to start to buy them from our small business owners, our Black business owners. And I say that unapologetically. We have to do that from our local business owners. We want to support ourselves because that helps keep the money into our own economy. I'm big on, I worked, sometimes I work out of the city of Flint, and I'll look in the store and see something and I'll say, nope, I'm gonna wait till I get back into Flint and buy it. You know why? Because even if it's not a small business, it keep the money circulating in that particular store, and it keep our local people employed. But we want to try to build our own businesses. Um, some of the things that came up also about building businesses is that we don't take the opportunity. I heard them say something about our 9 to 10-year-olds should be already starting businesses. They should be selling cookies, Kool-Aid stand, candy stand, something. Teach them about entrepreneurship at an early age. I could tell you, I think we've always sold stuff. I remember selling mud pies. Mickey, I'm for real. I was a little penny, 2 pennies. We selling mud pies. They had a mud pie fight. I was a little girl, 4 years old. I was hustling back then, you know. And it's funny because at one time I started talking about to some of the ones who were like older at that time, and they kind of remember that. But also, I remember being in the ninth grade and being devastated a little bit. My mom was in a bad car accident and she started becoming debilitated. So she was waiting on her disability to come. We had no money really. We was just really scraping, but I have family members that always made sure things happen. But you don't always want to go to the family members and ask them for favors. So I started selling what they call them ices now, and the freeze pops. And I did it all summer long. I made enough money to go to on the Cedar Point trip, buy new clothes to wear to the Cedar Point trip, buy all my school clothes for school that next year. And then when it started getting cold, my mom said to me, we ain't gonna sell these in the wintertime. We got to do something else. And the money was coming in, and it was coming in so good from the selling it. She started selling cookies. Now, mind you, I was about the ninth grade. I wasn't old enough to drive. And I recall her selling cookies. And to this day, If I talk to someone from our old neighborhood and we've been moved out of there about 30 years or more, 40 years, about 40 years ago, if I talk to somebody and say, hey, I'm the cookie lady's daughter, they say, yep, we remember you. They remember my mother as the cookie lady because she baked. She just used the recipe on the back of the chocolate chip package. But I guess it was her special touch that made them taste so special because people still talk about her cookies. She had some that had chocolate chips and or you could get them without the chips, you know. And she sold them and people loved it. I mean, people wasn't crazy like they are now or the regulations and stuff, and people wasn't quick to report you back then like they do now. So make sure if you decide that's what you want to do, make sure you follow all laws and guidelines. I'll say it again. Follow all laws and guidelines. Check and see. Do your safe serve class, you know, that kind of stuff. So if you're handling food, you want to handle it to the best of your ability. If you decide to sell tacos, because it was one time she sold tacos and she sold them on a regular basis. And she had a good customer base out of our home. But like I say, we talking about 40 years ago. And you know, she was a clean person. However, she didn't take the safe serve class, but she knew what to do to be safe in the home. And the people trusted her. So that was another thing she never failed to disappoint. Never failed to disappoint. Um, we got to think about those with the businesses. I'm trying to think because I know I talked to Brother Mickey, about a lot of stuff about that business aspect from when we was down there. Like I say, it was wonderful. The information we received a lot of information from a gentleman named Dr. Ken Harris. Oh my God, the things that he gave to us. And then we later on had a forum that featured the Black mayors of Michigan. And Brother Marcus Muhammad, the mayor of Benton Harbor, actually created the group to bring Black mayors together because they were finding themselves with similarities and similar problems because of just being Black. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said it's less than 20 cities and villages in the state of Michigan that have Black leadership or Black mayors or any Black mayors and supervisors. That's something that we need to think about when we start to vote. And then they get a uniqueness. Well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Well, it wasn't done by the person before them. You didn't complain. Now you complain. Is it because I'm Black? Is it because I'm a woman? What's the problem? What's the reason why? And one of the things that's not funny, I mean, that we have to get ourselves as people to be comfortable with where we're at and in our skin to be able to move forward. If we are not comfortable, we will not move forward. They told us from the beginning, this will not be an easy conversation. And they did not hold back. They didn't hold back on what they had to say. Day one or day two. So Saturday, they ended up with several different people talking about business and helping with grant writing and small businesses, finding out where grants are located. What steps should I take to just start a small business? Because we all pretty much have a good idea. We have a good idea on a business that we can start. I don't care who you are, what your educational status is. You have an idea in your head that you would love to grow into a flourishing business, but the means and the way of doing it and going about getting it done usually are not what we have in store. We just don't have that. So we have to start going out and start exploring. She also talked about the young man. If you got children, make sure that they're applying for scholarships, all year long. Start your senior year. Start the summer of the senior year, because you'll be surprised at how many scholarships are available for stuff you wouldn't think that they would be available for. People trying to give money away, but they want you to show that you want it. So go out there and try to get some scholarships and help your children in getting the scholarships and applying. they all of them are not college specific, but if you got a college in mind and you done wrote and applied and you've been accepted, of course, look through their plethora of scholarships that they have available. Just start to Googling scholarships. What do you like to do? I like to play spades, but guess what? There might be some grants available to people who want to be a spade player and be on the team when you get to a particular college or university, or they looking for somebody to help start a team. You never know. There's all kinds of things that's available out there. Trying to think of what else about the business. We have to start to thinking with the business mindset in the city of Flint in particular, because that's where we're at. We know that there's a lot of things that's not available to us, or we have to go through we they made those the ARPA funds and stuff be like a 501c3. Most of them are specific. You got to have fiduciary, or you got to have something that's going on, but there's grants that's available and you don't have to have all of that. How many of you all knew, and she mentioned it, how many of you all knew that you could get scholarships and things through ARPA? Yes, ARPA have scholarships available. Did you know that grants available? Did you know some of our local stores, start to calling them? They have grants available. That's how people get supplies that they use to do school giveaways and backpacks. You just be surprised at what's out there. Just explore. Explore all opportunities. And the one thing that I learned is don't take no for an answer. Because then ask, if you're denying me the opportunity to get it, can you give me some feedback? Because we want the feedback so we can know when we go to the next place what we need to do to make sure that we're doing it in a better light. I can't think. I'm thinking I'm covering everything from the business side, but we did have we ended it yesterday. Well, I ended it yesterday because I left and came home, but they did have a nice concert last night. Howard Hewitt, I'm sorry. If we wasn't going into Savior's Day and I had things a little better, I would have stayed. Public announcement was there. Two other groups, I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. But my understanding is that they had pretty good music too. I would have loved them been there. But the last of the seminar was a panel in which Brother Troy Muhammad from the mosque in Detroit and Dewan Robinson was two of the panelists that was on there. And they had this pastor, I can't remember his name, from Ann Arbor. And oh my goodness, if I ever go to Ann Arbor and I could find out where his church is, I would be one. That would be a church that I would love to go visit. I actually talked to him and his wife after it was over with, and they had a lot of great information. One of the things that stood out to me is at the end they asked, because our audience was not just blacks. It was, we had Hispanic, we had white folks in there too. So we asked, because they're our allies, what is it that we expected them? And the one thing that came out of that, we expect that they hold their own people accountable. And then when it's necessary, they stand up with all means necessary. Because, when you start to thinking about what's going on, you have very few people, if they got money, they don't want to get involved in it. Because guess what? They got money. Why do they need to be involved? We want you involved. We need you. But what we don't need you to do is think you're going to come to the head of us, sit at the head table with us, or in front of us and take over our organizations. And that's what has happened so often, is that we have our own organizations and then we give them to other people because they want to come in and donate a few dollars. They help you, whatever they want to help you with. I ain't going to throw no shade today, Mickey, but they want to help you by giving you trinkets and tokens for you to use for your organization, yet and still, then that means that's their way of coming in. If you cannot donate to us and still allow us to run us, we don't want you around us. That's basically it. Let us run us. Let us do what we do. That's the one thing that, not only because I am a member of the Nation of Islam, but that's the one thing that I admire about the Nation of Islam. We never have taken grants and things like that to help us to do what we want to do. We fund ourselves. And the reason why we fund ourselves is because we don't have anybody coming in trying to dictate to us what it is that we need to do. And guess what? We have a lot of people in our community that can actually help us to do for us if we only pulled our own resources together and put them out there. Now, let me just tell you this. If you're watching this from wherever you're watching this, Flint is still broken. We are not fixed. We are not ready. There are cities who have had water issues. The mayors talked about, they went in, not only did they take care of the infrastructure, but they also went in with ARPA dollars and helped to take care of the home fixtures. Um, the fixtures in the home, pipes that had to be replaced inside the home, they did not use. And the people, I don't know if they put in for a lawsuit, but they didn't use no lawsuit money to take care of none of that. That came out of funds that was there. Why should I get a settlement, $1,000 settlement, and use my $1,000 to replace everything I got to replace in my house that I done had to pay for all of these years, and I got to just use that? No. Yeah, I understand it was in the settlement amount, but remember, we was told this is the floor, not the ceiling. We was told there will be more monies coming. We ain't seen it. We ain't seen the monies that got there yet. We have not received not a dime at all, not the residents anyway. I can't say if I think the lawyers have received some. I beg my pardon if I'm not correct with that, but the people have not received any benefits, anything from the water crisis. And it was shocking that I went into one of the seminars, one of the workshops, and the workshop was specifically for how do we engage the community? How do you get the community in the know of everything that's going on? And community calendar came up, and there's several people who have community calendars, but guess what? If people don't know about the community calendar, now we, the ones who know, are obligated to tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, and tell that friend to tell another friend. That's the way you get word out and make sure that everybody knows. But we do need to start a great community calendar. They always saying that there's one somewhere, but I haven't seen it. And I think I'm pretty much out there in the community, but it is not as readily available as it is made or portrayed to be. But we definitely have to do that. One of the other things as a community we got to start thinking about doing is starting our Black chambers of commerce. Don't say we already got one, because we don't. It got changed over to the African American Association, if I'm not mistaken, is what it was called, because they said AAA. And from my understanding from some of the ones who helped start the Black Chambers of Commerce initially, it was taken over by the county and watered down. So they have control of it. We don't have control of it. That's what I was talking about. We can't allow somebody else to come in and say, oh, I'll help you with that. You want to help me so that you can take it over and take it from us. No, sir. We thank you. We don't need your help. No, ma'am. We thank you. We don't need your help. Be careful of those we let to come in and talk to us and take over our programs. I'm going to get ready to close us out because, of course, I always invite you out. And I'll talk about I always invite you out to our meetings. In Flint, we're located at 1417 Stevenson Avenue, across the street from Ballinger Park, off of DuPont and Stevenson. Our meetings are, the men's class is on Mondays at 7:30, I think it is, but you can contact us. We'll let you know. Our Wednesday and Friday meetings are at 7:30 on Wednesday and Fridays. Those are study groups where you get to learn more. You can also, the sisters, we have a class for us in Detroit at 9 a.m. You get in contact with us, or if you can't find, you can get in contact with me and I can get you to the appropriate people for you to talk to, for us to be able to have you to come out and visit. And it's not an obligation class. It's an orientation class where you come in and just learning more. And then you can make your own decision on if you're ready to join and be a part of the Nation of Islam. Remember, next weekend, Savior's Day, Savior's Day, Savior's Day. And I thank ATN News Media Group, because guess what? You've heard it almost every morning, if not every morning, from the bump in the morning, from the Winters with Winters Hall. She makes sure, her and Mickey make sure they mention Savior's Day coming up. Mickey, I might need you to help me with these the other program, and I'm praying y'all keep Trevor in your prayers because he had been pretty ill, and that's the reason why he hadn't been back on. But he will be back on as soon as he can. You got Clack and Carol and Clack on Fridays at 5, Sister Circle at 6. You got Ashley Rich coming on at 8 o'clock on Fridays. Those Fridays is jumping. If you didn't notice, Fridays is jumping. You got Councilwoman Tanya Burns that come on Saturday mornings at is it 10 o'clock? I think it's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. And then, of course, you got me every Sunday at 5 o'clock. We're going to try to keep that going. If I'm not on next Sunday at 5 o'clock, just know it's because I don't want you to watch me next Sunday at 5 o'clock. I want you to be tuning in to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at Savior's Day. So it won't be a show, an official show on next Sunday, only because of it being Savior's Day. But we'll be back on that following week. But we're going to be trying to do some things to try to bring you in on the know. You know, I can't leave without saying disaster preparedness. Is it okay? I can see this. I can't tell if my camera is mirrored or not. Is it mirrored, Nikki? Or can you see it straight? Okay.
I can see it. You can see
Okay, good. Because
disaster readiness.
I don't want you all to think I'm dyslexic and got it backwards. So this is a disaster readiness class book that's for children, and it explains why it's so important for them to be disaster preparedness ready. This book right here is the one that's a 30-day guide. It's disaster preparedness, and I'm going to actually share the sister's name with you. This is a backside of it where it has a picture of her. You could go on her Facebook page. Her name is Sister Tequila Muhammad, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she might be in Atlanta now, but I've met her and we've done weekends with women conferences together. Very beautiful spirit. I've never seen her like disappointed, sad, or anything, which tells me that she just has a jovial spirit always, all the time. But she talked so much. And one year we were at Savior's Day, and I think it was some presentation she did. She gave us the little pouches that had water in it that you could put in your survival kits. And so those are the kind of things she'd like to encourage you. But this is Disaster Preparedness 3.0, your how-to guide to prepare for a disaster in 30 days or less. And it's telling you how to get yourself in order. And, you know, a lot of times we don't think about the little things, you know, first aid stuff. You need, you know, make sure you got all of your sanitary products like toilet tissue, toothpaste, anything that's hygiene or whatever that you need, your waters and foods. But she goes over that and then try to tell you about why it's so important. But one thing that's definitely for sure, you got to get your spirit in check. We got to definitely, because a disaster can throw you totally off. And what we don't want to happen is that we get so discombobulated that we cannot function properly, or I'll say function properly. I say function with a clear head, so that way we can make clear, sound decisions if we do have any small disasters. So remember, Savior's Day Sunday, I'm looking forward to it. And I may get some tickets because I'm trying to get some free tickets to give away. I actually was at the mosque and ran out because I had to get back to work. And I tried to get back in touch with Brother Troy. So I'm going to try to get some free tickets and everything, because he said he may have a few extra ones. We have people who are donating tickets and everything for Sunday. And if you're interested in more information, always inbox me. You can inbox me at Audrey F. Young Muhammad on Facebook. I'm just going to be honest. I don't check Instagram and Twitter and all that. So I don't check those as often. I do sometimes, but not as often. So until next week, do something good for yourself. Take care of yourself. Give yourself permission for you to heal and to love on yourself. Until then, we'll see you later. Take care.